For some, tattoos are an extension of their personality, a way to express themselves, or even a sentimental reminder of a person or a special time in their life. But others are not on board with the trend, viewing them as offensive, distasteful and even a barrier to employment. Interesting story in this week's Mail newspaper saying that midlifers, people in their 40s and 50s, are now getting tattoos. So have we normalised them? Are they vulgar, or is it a lovely form of expression? Let us now speak to King of Inkland, Britain's most tattooed man and a good friend of mine. Hi, King.
How are you, Mark? You good?
I'm very well. You're looking very spiffing. I'm amazed that your jacket is not destroying the television signal.
Oh, wow, it's very Austin Powers, isn't it? Like, can I
it
say
is. It's gorgeous. It suits you well. Thank you dressing up for the show. You look very well. What do you think about people in their 40s and 50s having tattoos, the midlifers? What does that tell you about the culture of tattooing, King?
Well, I'm a midlifer myself now. I'm 43, but I've been getting them since I was 16 years old. So I think generally, if you decide to get them, you normally know what you want and stuff. And people normally regret their first tattoo, although their first tattoo can also be the start of an addictive journey. I think David Dimbleby and some other people have had tattoos when in their 60s, so it's not uncommon for people to start late. I've got a pensioner friend that I've been on television with. He started in his 50s, started on his face, to be fair, in his 50s. And now he's covered like myself. So I think generally it's down to the individual, but they are still quite Marmite. You either like them or you don't, you know. Indeed. I mean, look, it's becoming the norm, isn't it? What's normal, like, especially in this woke world that we live in. For myself, I only have to walk down the street with my friends and people stare at me that have never seen me before. Even when I go abroad, I get very mixed reactions. But then again, I am at the extreme end of tattooing, where it's on my face and it's in people's face. I think it depends on the individual, what they've got, where they've got it as well. And then when it can offend people is if people have like the offensive style tattoos, but you don't see much of that these days. Really, to be fair, it's more the tattooists are doing art, you know, doing designs that people want. I like people to be themselves, and if you feel good in a tattoo, then good luck to you. What has motivated your tattoos over the years? So I was inspired from my dad had a tattoo. It was a military tattoo, to be fair, with his first wife's name in. He asked me when I was in my 20s about blacking it out. He'd already had it blacked out because he married my mum, his second wife, and then he wanted it re-blacked out for like an anniversary. So I gave him advice where to go get it blacked out. My uncle had a couple, so a couple of family members, and then Maori, really. When I was out in Australia, I saw Maori people. I thought it was amazing. At the age of 9, half the legal age to be tattooed, but a lot of people get tattooed now a lot younger with parents' consent, which still think the skin needs to develop and you need to be of a certain age. But yeah, certain people are getting tattooed a lot younger as well, as a lot older. King, have you ever been discriminated against as a result of your inking? Have you had trouble getting jobs, or has it affected you romantically or socially? I've had mixed reactions in the workplace as well as like venues, nightclubs and bars. Like Sydney a few years ago, down in the CBD area, which is their central business district, bars and restaurants. I was okay in restaurants, but some bars and clubs wouldn't allow me in, and the security guards knew who I were. They said, we know who you are. We said, but we've got a policy, we can't let you in. So I approached the management of the places, and they said, come back. You know, they checked out I wasn't gang associated, and said, come back the following night. So that was quite nice. In the workplace, I've been moved from one end to another when management have come round, like senior management from like down south have come up to the offices, done visits, and they said they were having to move around, and they've moved me from one end of the office to another. I was like one of the only people to be moved. So yeah, things like that, really. How does that make you feel? Yeah, it's not very good, but I had a job. I'm very lucky, and this has opened doors for me, as well as, yeah, I'm not going to pop up in Downton Abbey or that kind of show, but like get me in EastEnders. You know, I know Danny Dyer's just gone out of it, but like, you know, there's certain roles in acting and other things that open up, you know, definitely. And probably modelling and things like that. King, what is the difference between
somebody that gets a small tattoo on their wrist, perhaps a rose on their shoulder, and then what you've had done, which includes your eyes. What is the difference?
Okay, so small tattoos, yet again, fairly cosmetic and the norm. It also comes down to people's lifestyle, what they want in general. And when I first started, I went into a tattoo studio, very old school, traditional tattoo studio, where you walk in, all the pictures are on the wall. The industry's kind of changed now, where people work, they know what they want, they'll take in a mobile phone. I think when I was 16, I didn't have a mobile phone, or if I did, it was a big Motorola or something the size of a brick. So, yeah, all the pictures were on the wall. I saw a British Bulldog with a Union Jack. I thought, oh, that's nice. And that's, but I didn't know this was going to be the start of a journey that become my lifestyle, you know? And that, for me, is lifestyle. That's the difference between a small rose or a small love heart. Or then again, that first tattoo might be, they might regret it, or it might be the start of an addiction for some people.
Yeah, and it makes you happy. You feel good, right?
Yeah, it's for me, it's there are a lot of friends that I've got that in the modelling world that are not happy with how they look, and they have cosmetic surgery, and they've actually been diagnosed with body dysmorphia. For me, I've not been diagnosed with body dysmorphia, but I'm very happy with how I look and expressing my artwork. It's my personal art on my body. So,
and did you ever risk? Did you risk your eyes with the inking of your eyes? Your eyeballs have been tattooed. Was that a risk to your sight?
It's a very high-risk procedure. It's a surgical, so I'm uncomfortable with it also being known as eyeball tattooing, Mark. Obviously, in the tattoo community, it is known as that, and medically. My optician was a bit worried when I went to my optician to tell him I was going to get one eye done, as you can probably imagine. But he gave me a full eye test, and I was okay. Because the reason why I went for an eye test, it's not going to stop a problem when they do the procedure, but you're going to get checked to see that you haven't got no health problems with your eyes. And then I had the procedure, and then I went back to my optician about 4 weeks later, and he'd never dealt with it before. And he said, we're going to check your eyes every year now. So, I mean, I see you're wearing glasses. A lot of people should have an eye test every 2 years, because they don't just check your eyesight, they check for cancers and other things as well. So,
well, listen, you look like a picture of health. You've always been a good sport. You do your own thing. You're an individual. You're a bit of a rebel, and good luck to you. We'll catch up soon. King of England, Britain's most tattooed man.